right, let's get it. I said, let's get it. Are we live? I said, are we live? Well, if we live, then let's get it. Night Podcast. Hey, Naya. Alrighty, y'all. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Minister Brother Derrick show. Bible study night. We're not going to do the theme song on Bible study. We'll save that for other shows. Right now, we're going to check the chat, see who's here, who showed up for attendance, and we have Naya. We have No Night by Cares. Okay. Let me drop this and we can get right to it. Topic of today's show is, why is it that we know what we're going to do is not right, but yet we do it anyway? And especially as I'm leading us to establish a relationship with Jesus so that we can establish a relationship with God. Are you letting Jesus in to do the work inside you, or are you still ignoring his call? Are you resisting his pull? Are you just saying, okay, well, I know about him, so, I'm good? And are you still doing the same things that you did before? The things that you know are wrong. Are you still doing them? Well, let's look at some possible reasons why you may still keep doing the things that lead to the road of sin, even though you know better. Yeah, no, like by kids, how's your headache? Did the aspirin help? Wait for her to answer. Did the aspirin help? I just took a couple aspirin. He said it's a little bit better. All right, y'all, let's get to it. When we sin, we feel bad and know what's wrong, but sometimes we do it anyway. Why do we do the things that we know are wrong? Because of our fallen nature, we are prone to be short-sighted and forgetful. Often we don't see the long-term effects of our choices, or we forget the consequences of choices we made before. King Benjamin once said, the natural man is the enemy to God, and it has been from the fall of Adam and will be forever and ever, unless he yields to the enticings of the Holy Spirit and putteth off the natural man and become a saint through the atonement of Christ the Lord. Mosaic 3:19, by continually rejecting our natural impulses and embracing the atonement, we can lose the desire to sin and gain the desire to good continually. Let me read that again. By continually rejecting our natural impulses and embracing the atonement, we can lose the desire to sin and gain the desire to do good continually. Moses 5:2. One of the most frequent injunctions in the scripture is remember. Both ancient and modern prophets frequently remind us where our choices will lead. Their words can help us realize that even if sin feels good at the moment, we will be much happier in the long run if we are obedient. That was it. That was a quick one. All right, that was a quick one. All right. What's going on, Cole? I said try caffeine tab. Cole says to sin is human. Right now, Cass says I got my coffee Folgers in my cup. Cole said, got Hennessy in my cup, of my sinner. Hey, we all are sinners, Cole. We all are sinners. We were born into sin. Thanks to our father Adam, we were born into sin. The thing is, how do we learn to resist it? Because see, to do something wrong, it feels good in the beginning. Cole says, for some reason, I have to constantly restart the show. It keeps stopping. We used to have that problem, but I hadn't had it in a while. No, I'm looking. I'm not freezing. But if it keeps happening, let me know. I'll switch phones. Naya says discipline. Yes, it takes discipline. But the thing is, you got to want to stop doing it, because you're not going to. If you really enjoy doing something, you're going to do it because you enjoy it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. You say many temptations overpower the spirit, but you have the will. See, this is what differentiates man from every other being. We have the will. We have the will built in. The will is built in. We have a choice. Like I told you in the last show, I could have cussed the lady out on the phone. I had the choice, but then in doing so, I might not have got my $25 off. That would have been the consequence. But in the moment, you're not thinking about the consequence. And this is when being a Christian starts to be annoying to some people. As long as they can keep doing what they're doing, yeah, hallelujah, Jesus, yeah. As long as they can do what they want to do. But when it comes to things that you like to do in your former self, Cole, he created the people. How can somebody that was created judge the person that created them? But now is when you got to separate. God didn't kill anybody. He gave the word. He didn't kill anybody. Your problem is with Jesus. And they'd be like, the parent didn't create a child. The parent didn't create a child. Cole. I'll stop you right there. Who in this chat has children? While we doing the show, create a child. While we're live on the show, create a child. I'm just asking real simple thing. Go ahead and create a child. I'm listening. And while you creating that child, tell us the ingredients that you're using to make that child. Tell us, are you going to make the child 6 feet tall and 200 pounds? Or are you going to make them 5'6", about 150? Are you going to give it long golden locks and green eyes? Or are you going to get them a Mr. T haircut? In the case you're talking about, your problem is with Jesus. So, wait a minute, you said that's our chance, nothing to do with God creating them personally. Well, I don't know how to make a human being, Cole. If I did, I'd make an army. And we go out here and clean these neighborhoods up. If I knew how to create a human being. I don't know how to create one. So if I don't know how to create one, it wasn't my idea to create one. But I do know if I make a Frankenstein, and it's just destroying everything, I would have to. No, by having sex, you need somebody else. You need somebody else to create. So that means you're not a creator. You need help to continue doing what somebody else gave you the ability to do. You would need a man and a woman. So the argument that you made, you said that God killed more people than anybody. That's what you said. And I'm saying to you, if I came out with the first pair of Nike Airs and everybody loved them and everybody started fighting and killing each other, and I decided, well, I'm going to take out the Nike Airs and I'm going to give y'all some skips and y'all won't be fighting and killing each other over the skips, then why can't I do that? I made them. If the Creator has created some people and some of them go wild, why shouldn't he be able to take them out? If I made a couple Frankenstein monsters and they started killing innocent people, who know better how to stop them? Who should stop them than the one who made them? Now, you're coming in and you're disrupting the sermon, but you just throwing stuff against the wall. Now you said it's all changed, but you are questioning what the Creator did by taking out certain people he thought was rogue. And I'm saying to you, unless you can create a human being, how can you question his judgment? Is what I'm asking you. Because the argument that you're making is weak. You said Christians want to act like the God of the Bible is some loving God, but he wasn't. Read the book, the whole book, and not just the nice parts. You know, the Bible's a long book, and have I read it from front to beginning? Yes, I have. Have I memorized it? No. But you're saying, yeah, well, you're asking a question, but then when I answer the question, you come with something else. You bouncing all around. Now, first you said that nobody's killed more people than God has. And I told you that God was the creator. And if he thought that his creation was rogue, some parts of it, why shouldn't he do it? Then I asked you, could you create a child? Can you make some on your own? Can you create it on your own? And instead you say, oh, that's nothing magical or special about having children. Well, so now you're going to leave. Now you're going to run. You're going to start an argument. Then you're going to run around the argument. And then you're just going to ball out. See, this is what I'm talking about. You came in with an argument, but you won't stay and back the argument. You're going to run. Why are you going to run? Why are you going to run away? What you should be asking yourself is, why did that voice in your head ask you to ask that question? That's what you should be asking yourself. Because it's not a good question. And it was a statement. It wasn't a question. You said God killed more people than anybody else. But you act like I'm attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your argument. And I'm asking you to present it. If you say something, back it up. That's all I'm asking you to do. Now, you said that he killed more people than anybody else. He created them. So, doesn't he have the right? If he wanted to do a flood, if he didn't create these human beings to act like this, he didn't mean for the angels to mix with the human beings, so he took them out? Remember, when he made us, he didn't make us with a will. Until they had bitten to that fruit, they didn't think of self. After they did, they separated themselves. When the couple ate that fruit, they separated themselves from God. So now they don't have that connection. So the same way, it was no problem for him to hand over Job to the devil, because Job wasn't walking with him. How many people did God kill in the Bible that was walking with him? The fruit from the tree of knowledge that the devil tricked them into eating, that they were specifically told not to eat. And now you saying parents should have the right to murder their children. And I asked you, can you create a child to replace them by yourself? Can you make a child by yourself, kill it, and then make another one, and nobody know the difference? There's a difference. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. God designed us for a reason, to worship him. Okay, Cole. Then would you like to call in and explain? Because we'll listen. Now you saying they're creating clones. A clone is not an original. Can they make an original? A clone is a copy of something. Can they make an original? A clone is just a copy. Your clones will be no better than the copy. So if you got a loser, you be cloning a loser. And those clones, 5 years from now, will they just drop dead? 5 years from now, will they go crazy and start killing people? 5 years from now, will they jump off the bridge? See, I just gave you several examples of what you said. But your examples are not coming back. You're just making statements. Everything you said, I have logically given you arguments against it. Only thing you said is you didn't read the Bible all the way through. Anything is possible. You said God is vengeful. If he's so vengeful, why he didn't strike you down for saying that he's vengeful? That's a good question, Naya. How much of the spirit would they have? Would the spirit get split between the clones? Because the original clone had a spirit. Would the spirit be split? That's a good question. Would the spirit be split? And would the clones be weaker? Because would the clones be weaker? Because they have less spirit? Could the spirit compensate for being weaker? Now you're saying because the God of the Bible isn't the real God. Okay, well, who's the real God? No, You're going to tell us. You said the God of the Bible isn't actually the real God. So please, let me give you the phone number. You can call in and explain to us. There you go. There's the phone number code. Call and explain. You telling me I have to do more research. So please, call in and explain. Consciousness is the real creator of everything. Case closed. You have to explain, sir. We want to know. Call and explain. You're just making comments. We want you to explain. If I'm gonna listen to you, I want to know what you know. Anybody can come in and say anything. Hey, the sky's green. What do you mean the sky green? Well, it looks blue, but it's green. Explain how. Case closed. You should know it. Yeah, you starting to sound like Tommy Sotomayor. You should already know it. Well, I gotta tell you. You said consciousness is the real creator of everything. So please explain. Matter of fact, let me get the Bluetooth speaker. 1 second here. Let me get the Bluetooth speaker here. Ain't you charged up? Power on. All right. What phone we gonna use? Hold on, don't pay it. Let me pay it with this phone here. Come on. I keep saying miscellaneous. Bluetooth. Turn it off. Turn it back on. There it is. Pair. Connected. All right. Turn the volume up. All right, so let's turn the volume down so somebody actually calls. And let's get back to the show. Okay. All right, said I'm not calling, I'm working. Somebody said, she's exactly there. What happened? Is the volume too loud? Y'all can't hear? Is the volume too loud? Well, like I say, we're gonna have to pick a day because I would like to know. Cole, you say you're working. Um, do you know a place where we can go and find out about your theory of consciousness that we can look up? Alrighty, y'all. Let's take a look at this. All right. For thousands of years, humans have gazed into the heavens, pondering the nature of the universe, with some arguing the universe was created, and others championing an eternal, infinite cosmos in continual flux and change, and with no beginning and no end. This latter view, developed by the Greeks autonomous and the ancient Hindus and Buddhists, was the prevailing theory accepted by most scientists into the 20th century, when the creationists, with the backing of the Catholic Church, came up with a scientific explanation for the creation, which was eventually accepted by the majority of the scientists. Ironically, it was Fred Hoyle, a leading proponent of an infinite universe, who dismissively coined the phrase which popularized the creationist theory. Hoyle called it the Big Bang. It was in 1927 that Monsignor Georges Lemaitre, or Lemaitre, published what became known as the theory of the Big Bang. His paper was titled A Homogeneous Universe of Constant Mass and Growing Radius, accounting for the radical velocity of extragalactic nebula. Lemaitre designed and based his Big Bang theory on the biblical story of Genesis. Lemaitre hoped to make the Bible scientific and in accord with testable observations. The universe, he said, was created by a creator, as detailed in Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. Lemaitre initially called his theory the hypnosis of the primeval atom, and described it as the cosmic egg exploding at the moment of creation. Today it's known as the Big Bang. Lemaitre's relativistic cosmology was also available on the belief that the radius of the universe increases over time because of the explosion from the creation event. Lemaitre, 1927 to 1931, proposed therefore that the expansion of the universe explains the redshift of stars following the creation. Lemaitre derivation antedated Hubble's formulation by 2 years. Even so, it became known as Hubble's law and provided the numerical value of the Hubble constant, which in turn has been employed to describe the hypothetical expansion rate and age and size of the universe. Lemaitre's physics, as Lemaitre admitted, had a spiritual foundation. Monsignor Lemaitre firmly believed Jesus Christ was God and God created the universe as advocated by the Catholic Church and as described in Genesis 1. Lemaitre was in fact an honorary prelate with the rank of bishop in the Catholic Church, a professor at the Catholic University of Leuven, president of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, which is under the direction and authority of the Pope of the Catholic Church. Lemaitre's Big Bang Theory was in accordance with the teachings of the Church, was supported by the Pope, and backed by the authority of the Bible. The universe was created according to creationists. God created the universe. For thousands of years, however, other scientists, philosophers, and sages have argued the universe is infinite and eternal, and that the very foundation of existence undergoes constant change. For example, the Greek autonomous Democritus, Anaxagoras, and Epicurus argued that the universe was infinite, that permanence was an illusion, a manifestation of the act of observing and limiting the senses. As the name suggests, the autonomous based their reasoning on atomic theory, which they originated specifically in the 5th century BC. Democritus and Anaxagoras proposed that all matter is made up of tiny, indestructible units called atoms. According to Democritus, these atoms move about in space and combine in various ways to give shape and form to all microscopic objects. Anaxagoras argued that the fundamental unit of matter, the atom, could neither be created nor destroyed. Perhaps the earliest formulation of the law of conservation of mass, all matter was comprised of smaller elements called atoms, which have always existed and which could not be created. Therefore, the existence of existence, including the universe, which is made of atoms, has no beginning, but has existed for all time. There was thus no need for a creator God. The atomists were repeatedly assailed and attacked by Jewish philosophers and religious authorities who described these theories as heresy. Attacks against the atomists continued with the establishment of the Catholic Church, who labeled all atomists heretics and blasphemers. Supporters of the atomists countered, if there is a God, then who created God? The theologians replied, God the creator, because the creator at the moment of creation, just as a carpenter, because a carpenter at the moment he first built something. Thus it was argued that God existed before the creation, and it was only at the moment of creation that God became God the creator. Hence, the creation event, which gave rise to the universe, was created by an all-powerful, omnipotent Lord God who existed prior to and is responsible for the creation event, exactly as described in Genesis 1. God is self-creating. In fact, similar arguments have been put forth by those supporting the theory of the Big Bang. The universe did not exist until it was created, and existed as a singularity or as a nothingness prior to the creation event. The universe created itself. The theory of the Big Bang creation event and the argument in favor of God the Creator rely upon similar physiological arguments. Prior to the Big Bang, there was nothing, or a singularity which is known reasons exploded and became the universe. God was the singularity which created the universe, and thus God and the universe are self-creating. The universe became a universe at the moment of creation, and God the Creator became God the Creator at the moment of creating the universe. Being be it God or Big Bang creation event, both theories rest upon the same belief. Something always existed, God or the singularity, and both God and the universe are self-creating. God became God by creating the universe, and thus God created God by the act of creation. The universe became the universe by creating itself, and thus the universe created the universe by the act of creation, be it the Jewish, Christian religion, or the Big Bang theorists. All assume something existed which gave rise to the universe. Example, God or a singularity. Oh Lord, this is boring. According to Lemaitre, God is that singularity. The universe, therefore, is not just a manifestation of the creative act, but is also God. The universe is God, since all things come from God. Every galaxy, star, planet, human, dog, cat, molecule, atom, all come from God. In the beginning, were one with God, this singularity, and in the end, all will return to God, becoming one with God. So in the end, as it is the beginning, a oneness from which all existence emanates and returns. The parallels with Hinduism, Taoism, atomic theory, and quantum physics, as will be explained, are striking. So Cole says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was of God. The Word is consciousness, not some made up character named Jesus. Jesus never existed. He was created. So if you believe that the Big Bang theory is created everything, just a big explosion, how come there are no more explosions? How come we don't have sister planets with life on them? And how come, if it was an explosion that created all this, how come another explosion didn't take it away? And are we living day to day? Because if an explosion made everything happen, then can an explosion eradicate everything off the planet? And why aren't there more explosions in the universe? And how does the moon keep going around not exploding? How does the sun not hit these explosions? How does Venus and Mars and Mercury, how they all sit in the system and don't have no explosions? Well, that's what I'm asking you, because if you're making this argument, you've got to be able to tell me. We supposed to be asking the question. How you gonna ask us a question? You got to explain. Now I ask you a question. The little bit that we know of, most of the planets we couldn't survive on without artificial help. But I ask good questions. If an explosion caused this, why haven't there been any more explosions? Now you said, how do I know life isn't on other planets? I can ask you the same question. How do you know life is on the other planets? What other explosions that happened in the past 3,000 years that have created a life form like ours? You said, how does a painter only paint? Does a painter only paint one picture? Why would the creator only make one planet? You still asking me to answer a question. You asking me to abandon something for a what if. I'm not saying it's not impossible that there's other life forms out there, but where are they? If a big explosion caused all this to happen, why haven't there been any more explosions? Come on, Cole, enlighten us. I really want to hear this. How come the Earth is the only planet that has an atmosphere with oxygen? How come the sun is in the right place? If it's too close to the Earth, we'd all burn up. If it's too far from the Earth, we'd all freeze. The moon seems to have craters. The other planets are not habitable. How does the Earth stay on its gravitational pull so perfectly? How come we see the sun and then we see the moon? How come an explosion hasn't moved the moon so that we can't see nothing at night? How come nothing has blocked the moon? You know how like when there's like a lunar eclipse, you say that's what you've been told. You don't actually know if that's true. Well, I'm asking you to explain. But see, I've just asked you questions, credible questions. You're not answering the question. You're kind of making me not want to ask you anymore because you're not answering anything. If you want us to believe in the Big Bang Theory that boom, it just happened and everything just came, I'm asking you if that boom came out of nowhere. I'm just asking you. If it came from out of nowhere, why it never happened again? That's all I asked. So alrighty, let's continue on. Did the same one. All right. Somebody asked this question, and I thought it would be good for us to take a look at it. Paul says that we will continue to do the wrong thing. Why did God make us this way? And does he get disgusted with us? Paul said in Romans chapter 7 that he wanted to do the right thing, and yet he continued to do the wrong thing, even though he knew it was bad for him. He says, I feel torn between being a saint and a sinner. I do not understand why God has planned it that way, especially when he knows we are trying to grow in him. As Paul said, we are never free from these two forces, and sometimes it becomes extremely hard to do the right thing owing to one's weaknesses and shortcomings. My question is this: why did God make it this way? Doesn't he feel disgusted with us every day trying to live a better life for him and yet failing most of the time? Before we even look at that, let me try and answer the question. When we were created, unlike the angels who live with God, he made us a place. He put us in a lap of luxury. All we had to do was sit there and eat and be merry and frolic and worship him. That was what we were created for. And he could sit and watch us. You know, when you have a king, the king has his throne. Then he has his best followers around him, and he has his servants. But a king loves to go before the people. And he loves to sit there and be praised We love you, King. You're a great King. After he made the earth, he said, why don't we make some people to live down here? We'll make them in our image. And that's what he did. We were supposed to be taught by the devil what is expected of us. Instead, the devil didn't want to do that. He betrayed God and he betrayed us. And instead of having a carefree life, where all we had to do was just worship God. We had all the food we could eat. The animals would literally come to you and lay down for you to kill them if you wanted some meat. But now, thanks to the temptation provided by the devil, and for my parents, Adam and Eve, now we got to fight an animal to kill it if we want to eat it. We got to fight with the ground to grow us something. When before, we just say, here you go. We didn't care about being naked. Now we worry about clothes. We didn't care if somebody saw us naked. Now we feel shame. These are things that we weren't meant to know. So when people say, well, God should have known, and to an extent, I agree. But I believe that humans were an experiment. I believe the angels are robots. Pretty much. They beings, but they're pretty much robots. Maybe God was bored. Maybe he had reservations about Lucifer, the devil. Maybe he said, I'll put you in charge of this human race here, and let's see how he do. Maybe he knew the devil would do it. But I do know that if you go through the Bible, you see the same thing over and over again. God just wants us to worship him and live by his laws. But because we got that free will, we don't just do what the angels do. They do what they were created to do. Animals do what they are created to do. You know? Check the chat real quick. You said you never mentioned the Big Bang. Well, I typed in what you said earlier. And it did say that they believe the conscience of the Creator, that the Creator was also what they call the Big Bang Theory. Back to what I was saying. Because we have the will, we have the will to resist. And I wonder sometimes, did those angels that left with Satan, did they resent God? Because they just did what they were supposed to do. Maybe they wanted to do their own thing, but didn't know how. Or maybe they were mad with themselves for realizing, hey, look what Lucifer did. You know, we could do it too. Maybe they didn't realize that they had the ability to do what they wanted to do. And maybe that's why they came down and joined Satan. But we know that Satan does not respect human beings. We know that he was not going to come down here and train us to be over them. You know, the human being was like the new toy. And can you imagine a toy telling you what to do? Imagine you had a little toy robot and you had to train it to tell it to be over you. When you don't put the batteries in it, it won't work. You don't turn it on, it won't work, but it's going to tell you what to do. Maybe that's the way the devil felt. Why would God have me come down here and teach these things that he made? They don't fly like us. They don't do nothing but just sit there and look stupid. Why would I want to be subservient to that? And so he tricked the people into, instead of being with God, against God. That will that we have, it separates you from God. The same way in those seconds, whether he manufactured it, whether he convinced himself, but Satan was able to use will to get Eve to eat that fruit. My question is, it's been 4,000 years. Why hasn't Satan been able to summon that will again and say, I need to repent and go home? That's why I believe he don't have will. Because he know he going to lose in the end. And yet he's still doing it. So he don't have no sense. Some would argue maybe he just was the fall guy, like Judas was. Judas knew what he was doing was wrong, but he did it anyway. Satan knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew there'd be a price to pay. He did it anyway. Us as human beings, the topic of this sermon, why do we do wrong things and do them anyway? I'm not concerned as to why Satan did what he did. I'm not concerned as to why Eve listened to a snake. She knew what God told her. And then when she came to him, why Adam didn't jump down her throat. Why Adam didn't pop upside the head and say, put that stuff down. Instead, he sat there and ate it. He knew he was wrong. He was the man. He was here before she was. And he knew better. And that's why he bears the brunt. Satan knew that the woman was the weaker vessel. And he's still using the woman to today. And men still haven't caught on. Wake up. But I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the fact that it's done. I don't want to moan and groan. Oh, it could have been. We would have had paradise. We would have lived forever. Why didn't they eat the fruit off the tree of life so that at least we could live forever? Can't worry about that. What you got to worry about is because of their act, we became separate from God. God tried to, with the Israelites, he tried to make the people be sin free so that they could walk with him. But our will is ironclad. We want to do what we want to do, and we don't think of the consequences. But Adam and Eve didn't think of the consequences. A lot of the times we do things and don't think of the consequences. Something as simple as if I go into somebody's chat and I go attack everybody, when I go back there and I'm blocked, I act like I don't understand why I'm blocked. You knew when you did what you did, when you said what you said, you was going to get blocked. God told them, you eat from one of them 2 trees, you will die. You got all these other trees here and eat as much as you want. But they still did it. And the topic of the sermon is, why do we do what we know is wrong? Why we don't think about the consequences? If I cheat on my partner and I get caught, how is that going to affect our relationship? How is that going to affect the relationship with the kids? Suppose I work for her father and the father finds out, then I got no job and I can't take care of the kids. We don't think of the consequences. We only think of the pleasures. And that's the purpose of this sermon. To get you to think of the consequences before you think of the pleasure. Because the pleasure is short-lived. Y'all asked me yesterday, why did I want that belt? Because I've always wanted one. 1, and 2, nobody else has it. And to be the trendsetter, you have to do things nobody else does. They see you doing it, and then they do it. We struggling with the 360. A good camera costs $200 or more. I'm never going to have that $200 at one time. So we keep getting the old ones and they outdated and we try to make it work. But even with the old outdated, we still the only people in the sector that live stream in 360. We are the forerunners. The first people to actually live stream in 2 and 4K. That was us in this sector. On the other side is people that might put up videos in 4 or 2K. And there are very few that actually stream it, but there are a few that do it. those that can afford the $500, $600, $700 cameras, they are doing it. Nobody in this sector is. Y'all seem surprised when I ask why people who got a whole bunch of subscribers and have all this money, why they don't put no money into that setup. But you see, every coin I get, I put it into setup. Oh, you should be going out and getting high. You should be going out and no, I'm trying to stay above. I'm trying to keep up with everybody else. Why would I want to fall behind? How does going out and getting high and smoking weed and going to the club and doing all these other things, and yet I'm sitting here and y'all can't hear me and the picture look like crap, but I expect y'all to sit here when y'all donate and I don't put nothing into my setup. But see, people have will. My will is to come to you the best way I can. We doing the Bible study. I didn't have to put a tie on. I didn't have to change. But I want to come to you in the best light that I can. You've seen me in all my button-down shirts. So now we're trying the polos. It's not costing any money. But you can be the leader without having money. Some of y'all say, well, why would you buy that belt? Where was I going to get $200 to buy a full-size belt at? We went online. I've shown you what the belts cost. When was somebody going to donate $200 at one time? For a belt. But we can get one custom made, which nobody has done. And we got it for $40. Custom made. You can't beat that. Now, other people are going to see it, and what they're going to do, they're going to copy it. And when you're being copied, you are the forerunner. Even if the views don't say it. We'll be able to say, look at them trying to be like us. Good. About time. Rather than saying, hey, you're trying to copy me. People don't take pride in their setup. Hopefully, people will look at me and say, let's take pride. We got the free will. I've taken a little bit of money I had. I've taken the money that y'all donated. And I made my setup better. I made it more comfortable. Which is why I can stream so long. I love to put the animations. I love to do the things. We haven't played the Family Feud yet. We've had fun making the boards. We've made 3 boards in the past month. Haven't even played the game. But when we do, it's going to be great. And nobody else will be able to do what we can do because they haven't spent the time. But eventually somebody, if we ever make it popular, somebody's going to see it. They're going to go out and spend a whole bunch of money to do what we do for free. But they're not going to take the time to figure out how to do it. They're going to pay somebody else to do it. And then try to gloat about it. And we'll come up with something else. When you are the front runner, people try to catch you But if they're not willing to put the work in, they can't catch you. Some things that you can't put a shortcut on. But whether you believe God knew this was going to happen or not, fact of the matter is, the train is leaving the station and it's en route. When it gets to its destination, do you want to go to the next level, or do you want to go into the lake of fire? That's what I'm concerned about. Anything else, I'm not worried about. Because when we get there, the same way Adam and Eve didn't have a worry, we'll be the same way without a worry. And we won't be diabetes and heart disease and blind and crippled. We won't be none of that, like they weren't. I'm trying to get there. I got people, I got demons, I got all kind of things that's trying to stop me from getting there. Now, do I lie down and let them have them be thrown in that lake of fire? Or do I do what I need to do to get to the next level? And for those people who don't believe, the things that I teach you do not hurt your life. Let's say Cole is right, and it's a Big Bang Theory. How does the things that I teach you to do, how does they hurt your life? Because you can't go have sex with a bunch of people and trade diseases around. That makes your life worse. Because you should pick one person and make that one person your everything. That's going to make you miss out on something. What are you missing? What are you missing out on? Well, you know, if I wasn't taking care of this family, then you know you could be out doing what? You could be out doing what? The most fun I ever had in my life was playing Monopoly or Scrabble with my family. It wasn't out on no ocean boat on the Riviera. It wasn't gambling in Atlantic City. It wasn't being in no hot nightclub with stinky people shaking their butts all around. That's not what you think of. When a person on that deathbed, there should be a loving and caring family around you concerned. How disheartening do you think it is to know that the majority of my family are not going to make it over? But there's one person I know who did. And she's been without her father since 1997. And who knows how many years before Judgment Day does come. She's going all them years without her father. But if I stay on the right track and I'm on that train, when I die, I'm going to go see my little girl in paradise. And that's what keeps me going. And I want to see y'all there. I want us to have the Brother Derrick show up in paradise. What is your goal? What keeps you going every day? What drives you? You know how depressing it is to know that I can't even stand to look the people in my family in their face because they won't listen, and I know what's going to happen to them, and I know I'm not going to see them, that they're going to have an eternity of agony, and I got to look them in their faces and act all happy when I try and talk to them and they tell me to shut up, stop talking that church, S-H-I-T, don't bring that garbage around, and we don't want to hear it. We love the devil. We love to get drunk and get high and fight. We like to con people and hoodwink them. Stop telling us about that daggone church stuff. We don't want to hear it. I got to look them in their face and know they go on that lake of fire. Why do I want to look at them every day when they won't listen? You know, I have to look at them every day. I have to look at them I'm glad I don't see them. People say, how can you not? I'm glad I don't see them. You can encourage them. They don't want to hear it. They'll push you away. They'll fight you. They're not going to distract me. They're not going to hold me to this daggone earth. I'm trying to get off this place. And anybody that gets in my way, I got to go through them. Go through them or go around them and pretend they don't exist. I want to get to paradise. And it's sad that people who I'm not related to will listen more than people that I'm related to. Let that marinate for a second. Okay. Somebody asked me, sent me something. Like I was saying, I went off again. I'm sorry. But let's see what that answer is. And was I anywhere close? All right, the answer. God created us with free will. Damn, right off the bat. God created us with free will. This is a good thing because without free will, we cannot truly love God. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, I forgot that. By biting that apple, we got the know between right and wrong, but we also got the free will. Now, I covered the free will, but I didn't cover that part. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. I didn't cover that part. Also, when Satan went against God and tore us away from God, he was saying, these two human beings and this little race you're trying to make, they're not going to love you. They only are going to love you because you provide everything for them. But I can get them to love me and worship me because I'm going to give them what they want. You just want them to worship you and you want them to just do what you want them to do. I'm going to let them do whatever they want to do Let them have all kind of pleasures, and they're going to come follow me. And you know what? He's right. Because guess what? Most of the people on this earth are following the devil and don't even know it. They're doing exactly what he said they would do. Remember the story of Job? We covered it. Video's up. He told him. Job believed that by doing all that stuff, you blessing him. But he really don't care about you. He don't really love you. He basically is doing the trade system. I'm going to do these things, and then God has to bless me. Not that God loves me, not that we hang out and he want to see me do well, and he loves me and the family. No, I'm doing these rules of his, and he's going to bless me. I go to work and do what the boss say. The boss is going to bless me with a paycheck. If I'm really good, he's going to promote me. If I'm really good, he's going to give me my own parking spot. He's going to give me vacation time. He's going to give me all kinds of perks in my 401k. But does the boss know you? Does the boss like you? Do you care about the boss? Would it matter who your boss was, as long as you was getting all the perks and the things? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So the devil keeps challenging God. Only because of what you do for these people. That's the reason why. And now, he's trying to say, they want to go to heaven. So now, they're going to do what you said they had to do to get in heaven. But they don't love you. They don't care about you. They only care what you can do. And this is the reason why he went through all the steps with the Israelites. The devil was right. So the plans changed. Now the plan is you got to get to know Jesus and convince Jesus that you really do love him and God, and then you can get the connection. You have to come ask for it. They're not going to make you. If they make you, they doing what the devil said. If they don't make you, they're not going to come to you. They're not going to love you. Do y'all understand how this works? Your will, there's a reason for it. Will is let's use the word choice. You have the choice to follow the devil and the pleasures of this world, or you have the choice to come to Jesus and God and make it to paradise. Go into the lake of fire with the devil. Enjoy your little 60, 70, 80 years down here. Spend the next 1,000 or so years burning in hell. Face judgment day and get thrown in the lake of fire and burn up. Poof. That's your choice. Anything else we can talk about, if we don't deal with this, there's no need. You can go back over the how and the why, but that's what you need to do. And you have the will. You have the choice. Now, if it wasn't for the devil, you wouldn't have a choice. We would still be in the garden butt naked and wouldn't have a care in the world and wouldn't have to care. All we had to do when Jesus and God come around, hang out with them, and then they go about, then they leave and we go do what we want to do. That's what it's supposed to have been. Challenge was made. Now, can they love you on their own? without being made. And that's the key here. Made. Because of that free will. Just like an animal. An animal can only do what Mother Nature set forward to do. So if you got an animal and you take care of it, a cat or a dog will give you love back. Not so much with a lion, tiger, or a bear. You can be nice to it all you want. They get mad at you. It's going to kill you. That's what it's designed to do. Maul people, maul things. It's designed. You can give it all the food and love and hugs and kisses and put it in fancy clothes and whatever else. It get mad at you. It's going to do its first instinct. Its first instinct is the maul stuff. When you go to the circus and you sitting in that audience, it ain't happened yet, but one day, one of them tigers is going to come out there and start eating people. It's going to happen. They're going to eat the owners up and they're going to come out there and people go, ah. You run the same way with the bulls when they run them bulls. When them bulls get worked up, do you think them bulls care? You can sit there and feed it and everything. Get one of them bulls mad. See what happens. They be throwing you through the air. You're like, but I fed you. I held you when you were little. I don't care. But they don't have a free will. They got to do what they were trained to do. We got the choice. And because of that choice, the devil got so much to work with. The evil people down here, they got so much to work with because we have desires. We have wants. We have needs. And it's real easy to be tempted. Being a Christian isn't about being a goody two-shoes. Being a Christian is about making sure that you in line with Jesus and God. Because if they believe that you love them and they believe that you trying, even if you fail, if they believe that you trying, they can overlook your shortcomings. If you really trying. But if you half-stepping it, well, that they're going to disconnect. Stop acting like they need you. Billion people on the planet. You need them. And whoever came up with that idea, yeah, they need us. They need to be slapped. They don't need you. They want you to come. They're not going to beg you. They're not going to get down on their hands and knees. Every once in a while, they'll send somebody to you to try to get you to remember them, and hopefully you'll come back. If not, anchors away. We're talking about, somebody was talking about how cold they are. If they don't know you, why you got responsibility to you? If you won't take a few minutes every day and talk to them, why should they care what you do? Why should they care if your house float down the road? Seriously. When you pick up the paper and you see, 5 people got shot, you read the names and you don't know who they are, most people turn to the next page and read another story. How come you can do that, but they can't do it? I'm just asking. Stop trying to put so much on somebody else when you know what you got to do. Stop worrying about what somebody else is doing. Well,
If he never would have put the daggone tree in the garden, we wouldn't have had the daggone problem.
How does that help? How does that help you maintain a relationship with the Creator?
I can sit here and say, it's daggone shame. Sat there and let Job get beat up like that.
Job wasn't walking with God. Job was trying to barter with God. Even when all these bad things happened to him, he didn't go to God and say, hey, God, what happened? He didn't even say it. Hey, what's going on? Why you leave me hanging like that? I haven't done everything. I'm a great man. Let's see. Davy sleep. You said, hey, Davy. Did I miss something? All right, let's get back to that answer. God created us with free will. This is a good thing because without free will, we cannot truly love God. True love of another is only real when there is the ability to choose love. The problem, of course, is that love is not an easy choice. Otherwise, it's not real, true, deep love. The fact that it is sometimes called the fact that it's sometimes hard to love God does not negate the fact that God loves us or that he desires for us to love him. God is disgusted with our sins, but this does not stop him from loving us. It's like human parents. We do not like the sins our children commit. We do not like their mistakes or lack of respect, but we still love them in spite of their sins. In fact, nothing could cause me to stop loving my children. Parents who really love their children do not make it easy to do right. They do not always rescue their children from wrongdoing. That does not mean I approve of all of what they do or that I do not love them. I believe you should not feel torn between being a saint and a sinner, because to choose to be a sinner is to choose to hate God, to hate yourself, and to hate the people around you. The better choice between saint and sinner is obvious. This is a difficult process of doing right, but logically, it's not a difficult choice. Your choice is heaven or hell. Is that a difficult choice? Your choice is between obeying your Creator or rebelling against him. Is that a difficult choice? No, it's difficult to practically live out a choice to love and to serve God. Yes, but the choice itself is easy. Surely you would not defend that it's better to be a sinner than a saint. Surely you would not defend the idea that not loving God is better than loving God. So I understand that it's hard to live the Christian life. God never said it was easy, but it's vastly better than being a willful sinner and going to hell. And Jesus did say that my yoke is easy and my burden is light. But the Christian life is easy and light only if we willfully take his yoke on ourselves. This is not contradict Paul in Romans 7. All of us have a sinful nature. God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Fear God and keep his commandments. Easier said than done. Let me check my chat. I'm sorry, y'all. I was on a tangent. Anybody make any comments we can use here? Here on YouTube. Wait a minute. I'm missing something. He said, Naya, we could watch on the other channel, the God Believe Goes out every evening. That'd be awesome. Uh-oh, somebody just remind me. Time is up. Thanks for the donation on Night by Kaz. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. 1:45. We trying to keep it to 2 hours. Does anybody have any questions on what we talked about? Okay, let me take a look at it on the phone real quick. They gonna commercial. Come on, man. When you open show up. Let's see here. Cop watch. Let me subscribe. Yeah, I subscribe to him. Oh, it's a live chat? Yeah, it's a live chat. I go. It's live PD on YouTube. Yeah, I haven't watched live PD in a while. I haven't had cable, but I could probably find live YouTube. I subscribe to the channel. Maybe we can show some live PD on the on one of the other channels. We can't show it here. But we didn't even get to all I wanted to get to. But we got to the basics. We know when we do something wrong. We know it before we even do it. And when you hear that voice tell you, yeah, you should go ahead and do that. Before you do it, another voice is going to say, no, you shouldn't do that. And you have the choice to listen or not listen. Because there's going to be a consequence. It might be pleasure at first, but there's going to be a consequence. I bought that belt yesterday. When it gets here, it's gonna be a pleasure. When I get toward the end of the month and I'm missing that money I spent for it, that's gonna be the consequence. But it's a consequence that I'll deal with because I'll have that forever. Now, if I go out and party or gamble or go get drunk or go get a cheap woman that's only good for one memory. And then you still got to suffer. But you ain't got nothing to show for it. No matter what you do, the suffering is going to be there. But will you get many memories, or will you get one memory? Will you get many memories, or will you get one memory? That's the difference. If you are thirsty and you walk into the store to get a soda and you got enough to buy that soda, but you got soda at home, and you see somebody sitting out there in the heat and they're homeless and they sweating. When you walk in that store and you walk out that store, do you give that homeless person the soda you bought for yourself and just go home and get one out of the fridge? Or do you say, well, you know, if I give him this soda, it's going to help him or her, but I'm going to be thirsty all the way home? But once you get home and you drink something, you're going to forget you was thirsty. But you'll never forget the good deed you did for that person. And the next time you walk by, that person might thank you or give you a hug. And you never know. You might be walking to that same store one night. Somebody might be sneaking up behind you. Their homeless person might say, hey, what are you doing, buddy? You leave that person alone. And you turn around and you see somebody running away from you. That, when you get something that has the potential to keep giving back, that's a good decision. So you might have had to suffer on that walk home. But once you got home and got something to drink, you forgot all about it. But that person didn't have any relief from that heat. You can go in there with the air conditioning on and sit back, pop TV on, see what's on YouTube. You go ahead, you got your soda iced up, got your drink iced up, your tea, whatever it is, your coffee. You been and forgot that you was thirsty walking home. It's different kind of sufferings. There's nothing wrong with a consequence if it got a lasting impression. You know, some people will say, you didn't have to buy this microphone. But if I want you to hear me good, I had to buy this microphone. Well, you know, you're going to buy something else for that. Well, we need it. So, alrighty. We got 6 minutes left. And I know some of y'all want to go watch Live PD and other things. But we still got 5.5 minutes. Can I squeeze this quick one in? See how fast I can read this. It's not long, I hope. Top 7 verses, Bible verses about wrongdoing. James 4:17. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is a sin. Clearly, James, the half-brother of Jesus, said that if we know someone who is in need and we turn a blind eye to that person, we sin. Because if we know the right thing to do but fail to do it, it's a sin for us. James gives us an example where he says, If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and be filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? People who don't help those in need. Oh, they got an animation up. Hold on. 2 of them up. Where we at? People who don't help those in need show that their faith may be dead. As James again writes, that faith by itself does not have works. If it does not have works, it's dead. We covered that last week. Faith without works, works without faith. Dead. But also, works cannot get you into heaven. Leviticus 19:35, you shall do no wrong in judgment and measures of length or weight or quantity. Have you noticed that boxes of cereal, crackers, potato chips, and other such boxes or bags of food are growing smaller, yet they have the same price? We had a box of cereal the other day. When I opened it, it was half empty, so apparently food manufacturers are now charging us for air. Even today, there are companies who are charging a certain price for a certain amount of goods and services, only to find out that they have been cheating the customer by shortening them on their product. God detests such greed. Let's keep going. Romans 13:4, for he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. We have a prison ministry where men come out of prison, and we try to help them start a new life and have a new beginning. But on one occasion, a former prisoner failed to follow his parole conditions, and he ended up back in jail. I tried to warn him that we must obey the laws of the land, and this could land him back in jail, but he refused to listen. It was only when a man-made law conflicts with the law of God we can break them, because we must. We must obey God rather than men. It is only when a man-made law conflicts with the law of God can we break them, because we must. We must obey God rather than men. But when there is no conflict, we must obey God's laws, because whoever is in authority is a servant of God, and we are compelled to obey them. For the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done, and there is no partiality. Just as the former prisoner who I mentioned above didn't obey the law that had been laid out for him after release, the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done. And this is exactly what happened as he ended up back in jail. God shows no partiality at all, just like law enforcement is to do. But of course, humanly speaking, showing no partiality is about the most important thing for us to do. I'm reading them fast, y'all. 2 Corinthians, where we pray to God that you may not do wrong, not that we may appear to have met the test, but that you do what is right, though we may seem to have failed. When the Apostle Paul was giving his final exhortations to the church at Corinth, he told them to examine themselves to see whether you are in faith. Test yourselves, or do you not realize this about yourselves, that Jesus Christ is in you, unless indeed you fail to meet the test. Anyone who claims to be a Christian but insists on breaking the law had better do self-examination to see if they truly are in the faith or if they failed this test. Almost done, y'all. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. When I was young and in trouble with the law, my friends and I delighted in breaking the law. But later the law broke me and a few of my friends too. We rejoiced that we thought we had gotten away with our crimes, but later we found we were wrong about that and ended up in jail. Of course, my friends and I had never read Romans. We were told to obey those in authority over us, even if we had gotten away with it. We didn't realize at the time that we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether good or evil.
we can see we love our neighbor, but if our hearts betray us, then we do them wrong. We're just flapping our gums because love doesn't wrong our neighbor. But who exactly is our neighbor? Is it the person next door? Yes, but our neighbor is anyone that we encounter in life, regardless of whether we know them or not. The point is, we are not to do anyone harm, period. Our neighbor is really the one who had mercy on him. So Jesus said, go and do likewise. Luke 10:37. And conclusion, the thief on the cross told the other thief, we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due rewards of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. And even Pontius Pilate himself declared, I find no fault in the man. And that's just the point. Jesus was totally innocent, and we were totally guilty. And that's why he made the perfect once and for all, supreme and sufficient sacrifice. We too were doing wrong until the Son of God came to save us, and we repented our wrongdoings and trusted in him. Now all of our wrongdoing has been placed on him. All of our wrongdoings has been placed on Jesus. So it was for our sake he made them to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. For our sake he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become righteous of God. Alrighty, y'all. So is it the 2-hour mark? Did I make it? I went a little over. Okay, y'all. Thanks everybody for watching. Sunday sermon is Sunday at 1 o'clock. But if I get in the spirit, I might come live. Let me see the chat real quick and we'll get out of here. Y'all asked me to keep it to 2 hours. And he said, yes, BD, sorry, thought it was 8 o'clock. Well, we started a little late. She said, hourglass emoji. She said, first time seeing it. He said, oops, they got all kinds. Prices are ridiculous. Is he market shopping tonight? I don't know. I don't know. I might go. Y'all gonna keep me company? Y'all gonna keep me company? I'll ride to the market. Y'all gonna keep me company? Give me it's 8:15. Start looking for me about around 8:45. Start looking for me around 8:45, y'all. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for watching. And as Naya would say, I will see y'all soon. 8:45. Cause I retaped up the microphones after watching a couple YouTube videos. They said you're supposed to put some flesh breathing sponges. Yeah, you said the weather was gonna be worse. That's why I'm gonna go out here now. I'm gonna go out here now and get it over with. And then that way I won't have to go nowhere. So I'm gonna go get food for like 3 or 4 days. So I ain't gotta come back. So all right, y'all. 8:45. Go ahead and check out your live PD or whatever. And I'll see y'all at 8:45. Y'all let me know, is the wind still a problem? We'll find out tonight. All right, y'all. Peace, everybody. Thanks for watching No Night by Kaz, Cole, Naya. If Liz was here, or anybody else. See ya. Peace.